Nikos was an ordinary man, the kind of person whose life moved along without any remarkable twists or turns. He experienced his share of good days and bad days, just like anyone else, and never wondered too much about why things happened the way they did. One thing was certain, he didn't believe in luck. To him, the idea of luck, whether good or bad, was nothing more than superstition. Black cats, broken mirrors, spilled salt, ladders across sidewalks, none of it had any power over him. He preferred logic over superstition and never let such things influence his choices. Most days, Nikos visited a small neighborhood restaurant where he sipped coffee and chatted with friends. His friends sometimes played cards or placed bets on sports matches, but Nikos never joined in. He didn't follow sports, and he certainly didn't gamble. Why risk money on something as unpredictable as chance? One morning, as he was getting ready for the day, Nikos went into the bathroom to shave. While standing at the sink, he noticed the mirror was tilted. He reached up to straighten it, but it slipped from his hands, crashed to the floor, and shattered into countless pieces. Many people would have gasped in alarm, whispering about 7 years of bad luck. But Nikos only shook his head. Such beliefs were nonsense to him. Calmly, he swept up the shards and finished shaving without the mirror. Later, in the kitchen, he made himself a sandwich. He layered slices of cheese between 2 pieces of bread, then reached for the salt. The jar slipped, tumbled to the floor, and broke open, scattering salt everywhere. Again, people might have muttered about bad omens, but Nikos didn't bat an eye. He cleaned up the mess and carried on. When he left the house for work, a sleek black cat darted across his path. He paid it no mind. A few blocks later, he came across a ladder propped across the sidewalk. Without hesitation, he strolled right under it. Still, despite his disbelief in luck, Nikos couldn't help thinking that, superstitious or not, it was a bit odd to have so many so-called unlucky signs in a single day. He broke a mirror, spilled salt, saw a black cat, and walked under a ladder, all before noon. When he told his co-workers about it, they warned him that something bad was sure to happen before the day ended. Nikos just smiled and got back to work. That evening, he went to the restaurant as usual. Over coffee, he told his friends the story of his day. They listened wide-eyed, then began edging away from him. "We don't want to sit too close," one of them joked nervously. "If something bad happens to you, we don't want to get caught up in it." But nothing happened. Nikos sat quietly, chatting and sipping his drink, just as he did every evening. Hours passed with no disaster. Eventually, one of his friends grinned and said, "Come on, Nikos. Play a round of cards with us. I'm feeling lucky. I'll probably win against you." Normally, Nikos would have refused, but tonight he agreed. His friend placed a large bet, confident Nikos would lose. Nikos himself expected to lose. But when the game ended, it was Nikos who won. Surprised, he joined another round and won again. Then he tried his hand at a dice game, and again came out on top. By the end of the night, Nikos had won far more money than he'd ever expected to touch in a single evening. It turned out that the day filled with bad luck signs had brought him nothing but good fortune. Nikos lived an ordinary life. Nothing remarkable ever seemed to happen to him, and he never questioned why some days were good and others were bad. He considered himself a rational man, the sort who dismissed the idea of luck entirely. Black cats, walking under ladders, spilling salt. He thought it was all nonsense. He often visited a small restaurant near his home, where he would drink coffee and chat with friends. One afternoon, a friend suggested he try his luck with the lottery. Amused, Nikos decided to buy a few tickets. The drawing was the next day, and the whole neighborhood gathered at the restaurant to watch it on TV. The first number for the third prize was called. It matched one of Nikos's tickets. Moments later, the number for the second prize was announced. Again, Nikos had it. Then came the final draw for the grand prize, and unbelievably, his ticket matched that too. He had won all 3 major prizes in one night. Word spread quickly, and his friends joked that maybe all the so-called unlucky things he ignored had actually brought him good fortune. Intrigued, Nikos bought a book filled with superstitions from around the world. Specifically, things considered unlucky. He began doing them all. He left empty bottles on the table. He let his wife cut his hair. He accepted a knife as a gift. He slept with his feet pointing toward the door. He sat at the corners of tables, placed candles in front of mirrors, and left his hat and wallet on the bed. He made purchases in groups of 6 or 13, crossed paths with people on staircases, and whistled while on a boat. To his amazement, the more unlucky acts he performed, the luckier he seemed to get. He won the lottery again. He cleaned up at dice games every night. Emboldened, he pushed things further. He adopted a black cat, smashed mirrors on purpose, avoided eye contact with people, placed bread upside down, and even spilled salt and oil without hesitation. His streak of luck was unstoppable. Eventually, he bragged to his friends at the restaurant. "See? I told you superstition is silly. The more unlucky things I do, the luckier I get." One friend raised an eyebrow. "Nikos, don't you see? You're no different from us. You're still following superstitions, just in reverse. You're only lucky when you do these things because you believe it works. Your disbelief has become its own belief." Nikos paused and thought about it. He realized his friend had a point. He had been as deliberate about breaking superstitions as others were about avoiding them. The next day he stopped. No more spilling salt, no more chasing black cats, no walking under ladders, no opening umbrellas indoors, no breaking mirrors. Almost immediately his extraordinary luck vanished. He lost the lottery. He started losing at cards and dice. Life returned to normal, some days good, some days bad. He no longer claimed to believe in superstitions, but he didn't fully reject them either. One afternoon his friend told him, "It wasn't luck or superstition. It was your belief in yourself. Your confidence made you win." Nikos nodded, thinking his friend might be right. But deep down he still couldn't help but wonder, what if he had broken just one more mirror?